Hey there, it's James with Make It Happen Greenhouse, and got a little project going today I want to share with you. I'm going to actually move one of my old timers. I call the plants that I started in my grow tent indoor originally before this greenhouse was even built, the old timers. So one of those old timers is a rhubarb plant that I've had for going on a year and a half now, and it's right behind me here. Maybe you can see some of its leaves up here. Um, it's not doing great in that pot anymore. You can tell it just really wants to grow and spread its roots out a bit. So I'm creating a special spot in the greenhouse for it. I know rhubarb gets huge, so we're just going to keep the one plant in here, and then as it gets larger, if it does well, obviously we'll split off some pieces and then transplant those outdoors, and hopefully they can survive the Kansas. To add on to some of these winter projects, that it's more just curiosity for me, but I know I've showed you that I'm trying to grow some gem corn, some heirloom varieties here, and that's this corn. It's actually about doubled in size from when I transplanted it. All the little plants are doing pretty well. I think there's one down here that's looking a little sickly, but if we don't lose one through this, that'd be a huge success. So the corn's starting to come up, and I just had this open space here at the end where a long time ago I had some potato plants and some other things that are now gone. So I built this basically 2 foot by 2 foot box and raised this up. I put in some. Let's see, what do I got in here? So I got some compost, worm castings, sand, just some random clippings from the different plants that I've been pruning. That's all shoved down in the bottom. Even some ripped up old cereal boxes and stuff, just to get some filler in here. And then when I dug out this hole here for the banana plants, because they were growing so tall, had a lot of leftover dirt. Most of it's kind of this clay material. So I didn't put too much of it in here, kind of packed around the edges though. I want this to drain, but I don't want this to get so sopping wet. I don't think that's going to be good for the rhubarb. So I want this to stay a little drier. So that's why I'm putting the sand in here. I'm going to add some potting soil next, and then I'll go ahead and put the plant in, and we'll top it off with some nice potting soil so it should look good and get enough nutrients. So that's the plan. Hopefully this goes well. Stay tuned. So I was able to untangle the rhubarb plant without too much damage from where it was located before. A lot of tomato plants and pepper plants kind of wound their way into the rhubarb, and you could just tell. I didn't realize that there was actually 2 plants in here. One had actually started to grow. I didn't even know that. I thought it was off the same stock because it was up pretty high. I didn't really look down into the pot for a long time, but you can see how this, it'll grow, and then leaves just kind of turn wither, and this one's about ready to wither. So I think in number one it's probably root bound just from being in this pot for a year and a half, and then number two is maybe I'm not giving it enough fertilizer. I don't know. So maybe a nice little restart here in a new area will help. Hopefully we don't have disaster and it all dies, but we'll give it a shot here. All right, it's in. So I did lose one of the weaker yellow leaves through the transplant. I'm not sure if this big one in the back here is gonna just die off. It looks like it's not doing well. There's a little kink there you see in the stem. So, but I think overall, again, this will give the plant a chance to stretch its roots out a bit. I'll tell you, it was root bound. When I pulled it out of the pot, it was just a mass of root. So tried to dig in there and break that up just a little bit to give it a good start here. But it is, it's a pretty plant. So it's a survivor. One thing I know about these rhubarb, at least from my past experiences, if these leaves lay on the dirt for too long and get really wet, they will die. So I've heard that this is one of the easiest plants to grow. I've had started several of these, and these are the 2 that look like they've made it. But I've killed a lot of rhubarb, so hopefully I don't kill this one. But I'm looking forward to to having this in the garden. And up there's a little ladybug welcoming the rhubarb to its new spot in the greenhouse. So there you have it. Just one other little side note that I was pleasantly surprised to see as I was digging all this out is just the amount of worms that are in the soil in the greenhouse. You know, I was transplanting some dirt in here from several different spots, and you know, I have seeded the greenhouse with worms. I didn't know if they were doing that well, and they're just everywhere. So whatever we're doing there is working to make the soil better in the long run. So there you have it. James with Make It Happen Greenhouse. I'll give you some updates as this rhubarb you know, starts to live in its new home.